Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. So in the 6th chapter, we've been seeing about the Ashtanga Yoga. You know, towards the end, we are reached 33 now. Okay, there's only 47 slokas, so we'll finish it this week. So next week it's sloka, then there is theory, no?
Yes, Mataji.
So we reached 33 stage sloka, that is, yes. So necessity of controlling the mind. Basically, yoga is for that. Yoga means what? To control the mind and the senses. And that's what we are doing in Bhakti Yoga. Very easy to control the mind and the senses. Because what is the meaning of mantra? We are all chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, no? What is the meaning?
Meditation, Mataji.
Mataji, liberate the mind.
Yeah, Manatrayade iti mantraha. So Manatrayade, which will liberate the mind, or that will free the mind. So that's what the mantra means. So we are doing the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra means that my mantra should, what should it do? It should deliver our mind actually. So in any yoga system, actually it's necessary to control the mind. And here 33, Arjuna is analysis on the Ashtanga Yoga. Arjuna considers Ashtanga Yoga is impractical in this Kali Yuga. And he rejects this Ashtanga Yoga. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, okay, greatest Kshatriya that too. And he is rejecting this yoga, means what to say about us. So he says, Atma upamyena sarvatra samam pashyadiyo Arjuna Sukham va yati va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. He's a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the equality of all beings in both their happiness and their distress, O Arjuna. Then Arjuna says, Arjuna uvaja, yo ayam yogastvaya prokta samyena madhusudana etasyaham na pashyami chanchala patsthitam stiram. So Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized is impractical and unendurable for me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. So Arjuna is the greatest Kshatriya, and he is saying that in Kali Yuga it is not possible. So that time it was Dwapara Yuga was about to end and Kali Yuga was about to start during the Kurukshetra war. Now Arjuna is rejecting Ashtanga Yoga, saying that it's impractical. Why? Because the mind is restless and unsteady. So Arjuna rejects it. What to talk about modern man with all capabilities of Kali Yuga? Because in Kali Yuga, as you said, it's in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, first chapter, it says, Prayana Alpayusa Satya Kalau Asmin Kinchana. Prayana Alpayusa. We see our great grandparents and all, they would have crossed 100. Then as you come down in the generation, it's like 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s. And it is said later on in Kali Yuga, 25, 30, 40 will be considered elderly. Because people are not going to live beyond that. There will be a short duration of life. What was the duration of life in Satya Yuga? How many years people lived in Satya Yuga?
1 lakh, Mataji.
1 lakh, very good. Then in Treta Yuga?
10,000.
10,000.
Then Dwapara Yuga?
1,000.
1,000. Kali Yuga?
100.
100. So now you can see how it's going. And in this 100 years, what are we doing in the first 20 years of life?
Studying. Education.
Studying and playing and all that stuff. And last 20 years is 80 plus. You're 80 plus up to 100.
Disease.
We'll be mostly having problems. Eyesight gone and hearing and memory loss and all kind of diseases comes. So first 20 years, this is by Prahlad Maharaj. Okay, he says in the 7th canto, out of 100 years, if that's a lifespan given, first 20 years, we are like childhood playing and studying and all that thing. Last 20 years, that is 80 plus, disease and all hospital and all many things like that. And then how much is left? Out of 100, 20 is gone here, 20 is gone here, 60 is left. In that 60, half 50% of that 60 years, what are we doing?
Job.
That is half of it. Yes, half of it comes a job. The rest of the half, that means 30 is gone. Now next 30, what are we doing? What are we doing most of the time? If you're not working or anything, then the study is done in first 20. I'm asking the middle 30. You do job, you build up your career, family and all that. That's 30 years. Next 30, what are we doing?
Family.
It's all included in that first 30. What are we doing most of the time?
Sleeping.
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 Okay. So that's what it says, sleeping. So out of 100, first 20 years is gone for school and playing and all that. Last 20 years is gone for hospital, disease, things like that. Then you have 60, okay, proper 60. Now this 60, 30 years is gone for building up a career, a job and family and getting married, having children, all that. Next 30, that was half of it. What we do, we sleep. Now, when will you do bhakti in this 100 years? We're so busy, no? Everywhere time. First 20 years playing and studies and all that. Can we do serious bhakti then? No. The last 20 years, disease and things, you don't remember sloka, you can't even able to hear lectures, you can't sit properly when you do japa and so many things. But yes, if you develop taste for Harinam, that's good. But then in the middle 30, we are like so running like animal, working so hard day and night to build up a career and have nice money and all that. Then half of it, we are sleeping. So Prahlad Maharaj is asking, when will you do bhakti? So he says, Kaumara acharit prajno dharman bhagavadaneha durlabham manusha janmam tadapi adruvam artadam. He says, it's very rare to get a human form. So start as soon as possible. All these problems will keep happening in life, but then bhakti should be started as soon as possible. At least it's never late. So because the soul doesn't age. But in Kali Yuga, there is a struggle for the life short duration, mainly because of this junk foods. No, kids are taking junk foods. So surprised to see one young boy having diabetes, teenage boy. So just imagine, diabetes where once upon a time it was like considered to be elderly disease, but now type 1 diabetes comes even to youngsters. So everybody, like all this obesity and so many problems because of this junk food, and they're not going outdoor to play, and video games and all this have made and lots of disease coming up. So the duration of life is, and anxiety and depression and so many things, duration of life is shortened. And people are not serious about self-realization. Even by simple practical means, they are not interested. And what to speak of this difficult yoga system? There is Ashtanga Yoga to regulate the mode of living, the manner of sitting and selecting a place, detachment in mind. So he's like, practically, it's not possible, Krishna. Arjuna is saying in a practical way. And Arjuna considers this Ashtanga Yoga as impractical and unendurable. Okay, there are super excellent abilities of Arjuna when you compare to the people in Kali Yuga, because Arjuna belonged to a royal family. He's a great warrior. He was called Savya Sachin. He's a sharpshooter, and he had great longevity. Above all, he was an intimate friend and devotee of Krishna. And so there's a lot of advantages which Arjuna had, but still he says it's impractical. So modern imitation yoga schools are thus condemned because they are completely ignorant of this desired goal. The real meaning of yoga is lost now, kind of. So, so Arjuna says it's difficult. Why? Why is it difficult? He says about the nature of the mind. Very important sloka. He says, Chanjalam himana Krishna Ramada Balavadritam Tasyaham Nigraham Manye Vayo Rivasudushkaram. For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. Oh Krishna, to subdue it, I think it's more difficult than controlling the wind. So it says he's so restless and turbulent like the wind. All of us would have experienced, right? Sometimes this overthinking comes and so many things, this anxiety. We don't live in the present. Sometimes we are so anxious of the future. We regret about the past, all these things, and we forget to live in the present, all because of our stupid mind. And for a man in the practical world, we have to fight so many opposing elements. Very difficult to control the mind. Artificially, one may establish a mental equilibrium towards friends, enemies, and all. And ultimately, no worldly man can do so, but it's more difficult than controlling the wind. You can't control the wind. So that means more difficult is controlling the mind. Because mind is very strong and obstinate. Mind is carried to the next body, right? It's a subtle body. mind intelligent false ego. It's carried to the next body. So sometimes we say young children stealing or young children playing pianos and miltangas, and everything is coming from the previous life actually. So it's some impressions are there in the mind. Some are lost, some remains. So some of them can recollect their past life, no? They're able to say that I was this person in last life. Intelligence is supposed to direct the mind, but the mind often overcomes one's own intelligence. Just like there will be an acute infection, and that can surpass the efficacy of medicine. You take a medicine, still you get the infection because the infection is more powerful than the medicine. So a strong mind may overcome one's own intelligence sometimes. So it's very important to control the mind. And he says the quality of the mind, that the mind is chanchalam. Okay. And here there is a, this is a Bhakti Shastri question. So there is a analogy mentioned here. The mind is the instrument of a chariot. Like if you consider our body like a chariot, okay, there is the senses are the horses. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch, 5 horses, that is our senses. And there is a driving instrument. The ropes are the mind, and there's intelligence is the driver driving it. But who's the passenger? It's the individual soul. Soul is the real owner of that body. So easiest way to control the mind is chant Hare Krishna in all humility. It says, by chanting Hare Krishna, we're actually trying to control the mind. Did anyone practice that, what I said last class? Minimum, how many Hare Krishna mantras could you hear when you actually chanted the rounds? Did anyone try? No one tried?
Mataji, I tried,
Yeah.
but halfway through only I got distracted. My count was becoming less.
But at
I
least
counted
minimum,
till about,
maximum you could go
till
up
about
to
30, 32, like that.
Yeah, very great. Okay, that's good actually. 30, 35. Maunika Mataji, 95. Harshini, 30. Very good. 95 is great. Yeah, 30, 35, that is not nice count. Nice. That means, yes, in between it might go somewhere here and there, but you were actually able to count that 30. That is good. You could hear that 30. And hearing 95 is really great. So that means you have real good concentration. So if you keep practicing, that'll have 43. Okay, good. $30 to $40, yeah. Yeah, chanting in the morning will definitely help in Brahma Muhurta, but then yes, counting how many Hare Krishnas you heard, that means you are forcefully, you're controlling the mind, you're bringing back the mind to hear the mantra. 16 rounds everybody can do, everyone is doing now. Quantity is not the problem, quality. Like when Krishna was going to steal butter from the neighbors, now from the gopis, Yashodama was thinking, I had 9 lakh cows, there's plenty of butter in my house. Still, why is my son going and stealing the gopis' butter? Then she understood it's not quantity, it's quality what matters. And she herself started, because her maid servants used to make the butter. She's like, no, Krishna is not liking the quality of the butter. So it's not quantity, it's quality. I still just connected. So I feel the quantity is not which, yes, 16 rounds, Acharya says we have to do it. But more than the quantity, it's the quality which actually matters. Quality japa is very important. That's very important. So when you chant Hare Krishna, what happens? You hear the mantra. That's the easiest way to control the mind. Manatrayaditi mantraha. So that's why mantra is important. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also suggested Pranata Pesunechada, how we should with humility chant the holy name. And Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindya, like Ambarish Maharaj fixed the mind on Krishna. There's a best way how mind can be controlled. So control by practice. Krishna says in the 35th sloka, Sri Bhagavan Vaja, Asamshayam Mahabaho, Mana Durnigraham Chalam, Apyasena the Kaunteya, Vairagena Chagrikyate. He agrees. Krishna says, yes, it's very difficult to control, but Apyasa Yoga, by practice, you will be able to control and reach detachment. Lord Krishna said, O mighty armed Arjuna, son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it's possible by suitable practice and by detachment. So this, we are actually practicing devotional service. So our bhakti, what type of bhakti are we doing? Because we are practicing sadhana bhakti. So we are doing sadhana bhakti. We are called sadhakas. Okay. So in sadhana bhakti, there are 2 types. You will learn this when you go to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, okay, nectar of devotion. That is our, after this Bhagavad Gita, we'll start with NOD. So there, Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami says, There is sadhana bhakti. That is, we are practicing devotional service in practice. And there's two types, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and raganuga bhakti. Vaidhi means under the supervision of a spiritual master, under his guidance, we are actually practicing. And as initially it's difficult, but as we practice, what happens? There will be spontaneous attraction to Krishna. That becomes raganuga. So we are doing sadhana bhakti, we are sadhakas. So we are called practicing. We are practicing to chant. We are practicing to control. So the practice recommended in modern age is the 9 type of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishwasmaranam, Padasevanam, Archana Mandaram, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. If all this is not possible, at least Shravanam and Kirtanam. First is Shravanam. Unless you hear, how will we speak or how will we do Kirtan? First, we should hear the glories of the holy name. The holy name is the only one which give you shelter, or the only one, Hare Namaiva Kevalam. Once you hear this, then you can do Kirtan. So hearing is a powerful method for purifying the mind of all misgivings. They said, the more you hear about Krishna Katha, Shrunvata Sukata, Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam, Hridayandasta Bhadrani Vidinodi Sundrasam. The more we hear about Krishna's pastimes and holy name, the mind becomes pure and pure. So the effect of hearing is, the more one hears, the more one becomes enlightened and detached from everything that draws the mind away from Krishna. So detachment from matter and engaging the mind in the spirit, or attaching to Krishna. Both should happen simultaneously. Should get detached from matter, should get attached to Krishna, or else the mind will be disturbed. By detaching the mind from activities not devoted to the Lord and getting attached to devotional service, one can easily learn Vairagya. So the impersonal spiritual detachment is more difficult than attaching the mind to the activities of Krishna. So in 65, Krishna gives the solution, how to control the mind by practice and detachment. And 35. So he says, Abhyasa Yoga. That means you should practice. And he says that the spiritual satisfaction is achieved by positive attraction, okay, to the service of Krishna. And it's a practical. By hearing about Krishna, one become automatically attached to Krishna. Why are we hearing about spiritual world? So that we develop a desire to go to spiritual world. So because the analogy given is, a hungry man is satisfied when the food is given. He feels satisfaction and nourished. Similarly, devotional service also, when we do, we feel nourished. And devotional service compared to curing a disease by the process called Krishna consciousness. It is said chanting is the medicine and the prasadam is the diet for our material disease. So the hearing of the transcendental activities of the Lord and eating the footsteps offered to Krishna is the best solution to control the mind. Okay, so 5 minutes breakout room. Discuss the significance of Krishna's statement to Arjuna, Abhyasena Kaunteya, for your personal and preaching applications. Okay, only just take that part. Don't give analogies, because we already mentioned. You have to go through the 35th sloka and you say the significance of Abhyasena Kaunteya. Krishna says by practice. Now, how that's going to help in your personal and preaching application. Okay, both you should tell. Sometimes devotees say only about practical, personal. They don't forget about preaching. No, how is this statement significant? Abhyasena Kaunteya. Hare Krishna, all are back. Mataji can post the attendance link. Okay, so from room number one, who's speaking? Durga Prasanna Mataji, Bharati Mataji, Maunika Mataji, Mataji, Nikunja, Keshari, Sneha.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Myself, Nikunja Seva Keshavi Devi Dasi. I'm going to speak from room number one. Mataji, as so far we have discussed the points like to get detached, and in order to control our senses, we need to perform the devotional activities and also hearing. Hearing is a prominent thing, Mataji. So, how our life got changed is before Krishna consciousness, though myself and the devotees who were present in the particular room were like non-devotees, and after practicing Krishna consciousness, slowly making that as habit, like by listening to the classes regularly, by chanting regularly, slowly we can adapt it. For example, we don't know how to walk while we were born, but slowly by falling down we learn to walk, and now we are running in our lives. So in the same way, slowly, when in initial stage we might not get that interest or do that, because since many births we are into this material life, so when we initially start practicing Krishna consciousness we might not feel that interested, but slowly when we make it as practice and habit, and when we practice that, then controlling our senses, we can attain the Supreme Lord by attaining Vairagya. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So what about room number two? No one from room number two? Yes, Prabhu. Very good.
Mataji, few point we have noted. So the personal thing, one Prabhu, Biju Prabhu shared, though we are getting up early in the morning and we are chanting, and this became our habit and abhyasa. So we could able to control our sleep, and we could chant early in the completing our rounds. And one more is, and in the preaching in one place, Prabhupada writes in the purport, the more one hears about Krishna, the more one becomes enlightened and detached from everything that draws the mind away from Krishna. So in preaching, whatever we can do personally also, we can do same thing, and we can tell others. Repeated hearing of Krishna Katha, we get attraction to Krishna and withdrawing our mind from unnecessary things. This small 1-2 point we remember. And other two devotees can share anything you want to say. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, room number three.
Hare Krishna Mataji. We actually did not think of any differences in our life after Krishna consciousness, but in general we discussed about this shloka, wherein we identify that first Krishna tells us that mind is very wavering, and I think Krishna gave us two different variables here. We kind of related that to a mathematical formula, which is that mind always runs towards something that we are most habituated to do, and second to something that we are very attached to. So Krishna helped us identify that, and therefore when we attach our hearts and minds to Krishna and Bhakti, we are most probably or most likely to wander towards it. And also what are we most habituated doing is something again mind wanders to. So if we hear, chant, associate with devotees, I think again mind would wander towards Krishna consciousness. Other than that, we try to see if there are any other Vedas or any other devotional books or anything give us the same meaning. And we actually thought of the Gayatri mantra, which is Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, which represents Gayatri Devi, who is again a representation of meditation, prayer, and also detachment. And also in the mantra, also we say that we are actually meditating upon God and praying to God and attaching ourselves to God. So yeah, this is what overall we discussed, and we also talked about the nature of mind, Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So I think all the department, all the batches they spoke, right? Anyone likes to add anything? Okay. So how mind control is. So practical and your personal and preaching application. So I think personal application have most of them controlled, been covered. Only preaching application. It will see here also for mind control. When preaching application, it can see, you can see these great all Maharajas and all these preachers in Krishna consciousness, especially when they go to colleges, when they go to IT field and all, they give class on mind control. They want, like even His Grace Naminister Prabhu also, he had this we are not this body, then something like that. No, the uh, this is called science of spirituality. So he used to go to colleges, different colleges, and some of them are great devotees now, those students. So past 20 years, he was going to different colleges, and he doesn't present Krishna consciousness raw, like directly about chanting and all. No, it's spoken in a way which is appreciated by the modern youths and all. Like he speaks about mind control techniques and different ways to control the mind, physical and many other way to control spiritual way and all. And then finally they come to chanting. But initially, this is how you can do for a preaching application, practicing mind control techniques. So that can be used. So in that way, now um, Arjuna himself has rejected this Ashtanga Yoga. Now Krishna is telling Arjuna that there's another way to control the mind, and that later on we'll see. That is from the 7th chapter, Bhakti Yoga starts. So 37 to 47, that is the last part of this chapter. So we'll see 37 to 39, Arjuna's inquiry about a fallen yogi. Like now Arjuna is asking, what will happen to a fallen yogi? Yeah, how a pilot control a ship in the wind. Thus, we need to control our senses. Yes, similarly. So when the ship is going, there will be a lot of waves and lot of this wind and all. So the pilot has this control of the whole ship. So similarly, we also the boat is the human body is like a boat, and our captain is the spiritual master. Now he has given us the mantra, he has given us scriptures to control our mind. So we should just follow it. Just by following it, we can actually control the mind. Okay, so that is possible. And yes, material diseases like those waves, and material life is like that waves and it's like we don't know, anything can happen at any time. But even at that time, to have a steady mind, this practice of Krishna consciousness will definitely help. Now, Arjuna is inquiring, what will happen to the yogi? Okay, so what happens to the fate of a yogi? He is asking, like, these yogis are practicing yoga system. And then what will happen if the yogi falls? In the sense, if a yogi is not able to complete Krishna consciousness or complete his yoga practice, then what will happen? Arjuna Uvaja Ayati Shraddhayopeto Yogaschalitamanasa Aprapya Yoga Samsiddhim Gamgatim Krishna Gachati. So Arjuna said, oh Krishna, what is the destination of an unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization with faith, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness, thus does not attain perfection in mysticism? She's asking, what is the fate of that yogi? Okay, so one may begin the process with faith, but later this is due to worldly mindedness. Like here it is said, like sometimes we have seen, no, somebody chants 16 rounds and suddenly they fall down. They don't even chant or anything. So he's asking, what will happen to them? Okay, an analogy given is a riven cloud. Like there'll be a big cloud, and sometimes you look at the cloud, it has different shapes. And suddenly you can see a small cloud coming, getting separated from the main cloud. And this small cloud, after some time you look back again, you can't see the small cloud because it will be washed away by the wind. Or sometimes it can go and join the main cloud. So he's asking, does a man perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? Arjuna expresses that only Krishna can dispel this doubt completely. So the basic principle of self-realization is that knowing that we are not this body, we are spirit soul, and he's different from the body, and his happiness is the eternal life of bliss and knowledge, and eternal life is transcendental beyond both body and mind. So there are three paths for self-realization. Some can do Jnana Yoga, that is the path of knowledge. Some do Ashtanga Yoga, the full yoga system. Some do Bhakti Yoga, that is devotional service. But Bhakti Yoga is the highest. Because once you reach Bhakti Yoga, there's no coming down. Or in one life itself, you can reach perfection. So similarity is that in all these paths, the Sambandha, that is our relationship with Krishna, is revealed. Abhideya, the Prayojana, to re-establish the lost relationship, the activity is happening, and Prayojana is the goal, highest goal of love of Godhead in Krishna consciousness. So even if you follow any of these three paths, one is sure to reach the Supreme sooner or later. But if you reach Bhakti, go Bhakti Yoga directly, immediately you can go. Other methods will take a lot of time. And the most direct method is Bhakti Yoga. Okay. So out of the three, Bhakti Yoga is the best. Krishna says in this chapter 47 sloka, Yoginam Avisarvesha. So he himself, it's Krishna's opinion. Krishna himself says Bhakti Yoga is the best. Then what should we doubt? Like there are three kids in a house, and the father says that by touching the fire, you will get burned. So the first one is most intelligent because the father said that child heard, and he knows that the father will tell the truth. The father have experience. So father said, if you touch fire, it will burn. So the first one doesn't touch. The second one start doubting. The second one thought, oh no, I should experience it. So goes and touches the fire. Then it gets burned and has some injury, the boil, and then experience it. The other one, don't even listen, try to listen, just go and touch it. So we should not be like that. We should be like the first, it's a Shabda Praman. Krishna himself says in Gita Bhakti Yoga is the best, just accept it. Prabhupada says, Bhakti Yoga is very simple. Just accept what Krishna says. When Krishna says he's the supreme, accept that he's the supreme. Why should we go and challenge and do mental speculation? No need. So why should we go to other yoga system and reach Bhakti Yoga? Because Krishna himself says Bhakti Yoga is the best. And all the other paths culminate in Bhakti Yoga. And this is the most direct method. You went to in a lift and then you have to go to the 100th floor. Then by walking in the steps will take a lot of time and energy. You'll be tired. And you don't know whether you'll be able to complete. But you get into the lift and you press one switch, it will directly take to you to the 100th floor. That one switch is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra Bhakti Yoga, which will take us to our destination. So what is the significance of Arjuna asking this question? So in 2.40, Neha Vikramana Sosti, Pratyavayana Vidyate Salpava Besadarga Sedrai Deva, Krishna says there is guarantee on the transcendental path that will be assured that even if you fall, it will save you from great dangers. But Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga is very difficult in this age of Kali Yuga. And one may be not sufficiently serious about the following process. So Prabhupada says, pursue the transcendental path is more or less a declare of war to the illusionary energy of Maya. So consequently, when a person tries to escape the clutches of Maya or illusionary energy, she tries to defeat the practitioner by various allurements. So many things will come. And we should not get deviated. So a conditioned soul is always allured by the modes of material nature. And there's every chance of falling down. So Arjuna is asking, what will happen if a transcendentalist fall? Does he lose hope? Kanchinno bhaya viprasas chinnabaram chinnabram ivanash apradishto mahabaho vimudo brahmanapati. Oh my Jayam Krishna, does such a man who's bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away both spiritual and material success and perish like a raven cloud with no position to in any sphere? So he's asking, what will happen to that person? Will he lose both material and spiritual happiness and success? So in materialist path, there is no interest in transcendence. They're more interested in material attachment, like economic development, promotion to higher planets. And in transcendence, they cease all other activities and sacrifice the so-called material happiness. So Arjuna is telling that a pale transcendentalist is like a riven cloud, because apparently he's losing connection. So he's asking, is there that he's not successful? Just like a cloud deviate from the small cloud, does not even join a big cloud and it's blown away by wind. So understood, there will be a small cloud coming from the big cloud. And what happens? It neither joins the big cloud nor it is seen anywhere else. It is just washed away by wind. So he's asking, does that transcendentalist become like that, an unsuccessful yogi? Brahmanapati means a path of transcendental realization, understanding oneself to be spiritual as part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, who is manifested as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So what happens to an unsuccessful yogi? He says, he doesn't fall away. He can start from where he stopped. Okay, Shuchinam Srimadange, they'll be taken birth in a rich aristocratic family, Brahmana family, Vaishnava family, so that they continue from where they stop. So only Krishna can satisfy Arjuna's doubt. Only Krishna can clear that. Etanme samshayam Krishna chetam arhasya sheshataha vad anya samshayasya chetanahi upatyate. This is my doubt of Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely, because for you no one is found to can destroy this doubt. So whenever Arjuna is doubtful, he goes to his Shiksha Guru, that is Krishna there. So it's just showing us the path that we should go to our spiritual master when we had doubt. Because Krishna knows the past, present, and future, and no one is equal or above Krishna. Certainly the so-called great sages and philosophers, they're all at the mercy of Krishna. They cannot equal Krishna. The verdict is Krishna's is final, complete answer to all doubt, because he knows everything. And Krishna also explains in 2.12 that eternal living entity, individuality of the living entity. This shows that Krishna knows the past, present, and future. Krishna knows the past, present, future of all of us, 84 lakh species of life. Thus, Arjuna expect him to reveal the future of unsuccessful transcendentalist. So Prabhupada is Krishna, and Krishna conscious devotee alone know what is what. So now Krishna is answering that no misfortune will come for a transcendentalist, even though he falls down. Like in this world, whatever we do, attain success, nothing you can take and go. Nothing. Now, everything is just crushed away. No? So everything is taken away. So once one Prabhu was saying that even the dress, which you wear when the time of death, that is also taken away at the time of cremation sometimes, because the ghee they put, that cloth might take that ghee. So even if he's a richest businessman, or he has every wealth and every success in material world, he can't take anything. He can't even take a 1 rupee coin or whatever wealth he has, minimum also, because he came empty-handed, go empty-handed. But spiritual life is not like that. From where you stop, you can continue. So there is no loss in this endeavor. We should not feel that, oh, okay, I won't be able to become a pure devotee this life. But at least I've started my Krishna consciousness. You all are doing 16 rounds. That means a great success, that is, to reach the 16 rounds. Then slowly, you can progress, advance. So that we can start from where we stopped last life. So Narad Muni says in Bhagavatam, Tektva sadharmam charanabhujam hare bhajan apakva tapate tato yati yatrakabatram aputamushikim povarta apto abhajatam swadharmata. So Tektva swadharma, if you give up your swadharma, the real occupational duty, and charanabhujam hare, you take up to devotional service. But bhajan apakva, your bhajan, your devotional service is apakva, not matured, and atapate tato, you fell down, then there is no loss. But at the same time, somebody who's a businessman or a materialistic person, he did a lot of good thing in his occupational duty, but he's not a devotee, then apajadam, he's not doing devotional service, then what is his gain? If somebody gives up all material prospects and take to Krishna consciousness, there is no loss or degradation in any way. On the other hand, a non-devotee only engaged in occupational duty, yet does not gain anything. So what happens to the transcendentalists? Here it is said, one has to suffer the reaction of not executing the prescribed duty. However, Srimad Bhagavatam says there is no loss. Even though one may be subjected to the reaction for not perfectly executing public duty, he is still not a loser, because auspicious Krishna conscious activity is never forgotten. And one is so engaged, will continue to be so, even if he is low burn in the next life. On the other hand, one who simply follows strictly the prescribed duty need not necessarily attain auspicious results if he is lacking in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so that is the two things said in 6.40 from Sri Bhagavan Vaja. Partha naivehana mutra vishash vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyana kritkashit turkatim tatakachati. He says, the son of Pritha, transcendence engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction, either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So there is no loss for a transcendence. Prabhupada gives a big purport, and it says, what happens to the next to that person, he says in the next sloka, Prapya punyam kridam loka siva sashwati sama shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga prishto abhijayate. He says shuchinam shrimatam gehe. That means an unsuccessful yogi, after many years of enjoyment on the planets of pious living entities, is born to the family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocratic family. Okay, what do you mean by that? Enjoyment on the planets of pious living entities. What is the meaning of that? Enjoying in the planets of pious living entities. So where does they go first?
Heavenly planets, sense gratification.
Heavenly planets, that is Swargaloka. So first they go to the Swarga, yeah, heaven, and then they enjoy there all their, because they would have done some punya by doing devotional service. And they go to heavenly planets, they enjoy there. Then they come back, but when they come back to the material world, they don't fall down. They start from where they stop. Shuchinam Srimadam Gehe. So Arjuna is asking, what will happen to the unsuccessful yogi who falls up, falls down? What happens to those who fail to reach the goal because of it? And by the grace of the Lord, they are allowed to make full utilization of their material propensity in heavenly planets. They go to heavenly planets first. Then they are given a prosperous life in righteous aristocratic family. Prabhupada says those are born in such family, that is rich aristocratic family, righteous family, Vaishnava, Brahmin family, they should take advantage of that facility and try to elevate themselves in Krishna consciousness. Now, sometimes like you are born in a rich family and all, it is said that a rich man's son, he doesn't have to work so hard like a beggar son. Because a beggar son, for tomorrow, he doesn't have anything to eat. But for a rich man's son, those who are born in multi-rich families, at birth itself, they become millionaires, crorepati's, because they don't, like a company's MD or a CEO, someone who's a founder. This son becomes the next successor, or he becomes eligible to run the whole company. He didn't have to do any hard work for that. That's because of his pious deeds or good karma he did, punya in his previous life. Now, why such facilities is given is not to enjoy life and do sense gratification. That's what's happening most of the time nowadays. But that's to, so that he doesn't have to work so hard and maximum time can be given to spiritual life. That's why they are born in such a rich family. But what happens nowadays, they go for sense gratification. Again, they fall down again and again, things goes wrong. So the main reason Krishna says is to make us understand that we are born in such family so that we do devotional service nicely. And continue from where we stop. Atava yoginam eva kule bhavadita thimatam edat hi durpat dharam loke janmayadi krisham. Or if an unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he has his birth in a family of transcend this was surely great wisdom. Certainly such a birth is rare in this world. So he says a unsuccessful yogi, he'll have a rare birth. Why? Because he can start from where he stopped. So such a yogi is given birth in the family of transcendence, is surely great in wisdom. And examples are Acharyas, the Goswamis, and even Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti, they all taken birth in Vaishnava family. They all of them. Prabhupada used to say, so they are all channel associates, but still just for a pastime, Prabhupada used to say that when early morning his father was doing Mangalarati, they used to wake up hearing the bell sound. And just following the father itself, he says, I became a great devotee. And then when Abhecharan, Prabhupada had fever and Dr. Bose, his family physician, advised chicken soup. And Abhecharan just had 1 spoon and he vomited. So, and his mother said, no, we will not cook that non-veg in our house. So the doctor personally cooked and came, but still he could not. So just proving he's a Vaishnava, he's born Vaishnava. That's because it says that they've been doing devotional service for so many lives. But they are all eternal associates. They come down according to the instructions given to them to spread Krishna consciousness, to make us, to take us back home, back to Godhead. But it says that great acharyas, they taken birth in such a family so that to continue from where they stop. So 43 to 44 says about the resumption of the yoga practice. Tatratam buddhi samyogam tapate pauram te yatate cha tato bhuya samsiddhau kurunandana On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Guru. Now, some of you would have felt like 4 rounds were reached very easily, then 8 rounds, then 16. Like some of you reached 16 rounds very soon. There were some devotees who just after 18 days of level 1 course, they immediately started chanting 16. It's not possible in one life. They would have practiced it in previous life. That's why they came here. Sometimes when you say, chant some sloka, it's just immediately registers. But some slokas are very difficult. So those slokas we could memorize easily. They have been memorized from previous life in our mind. It's the impression is there. Some plays nice mridanga. It's all coming from previous life. So after getting opportunity in appropriate family, the yogis, why are we given such a life? To begin the yoga practice from where they left off in previous life. So one should revive the divine consciousness from the previous life, and automatically they are attracted to the yoga principle. They always stand above the ritualistic principles of scriptures, and they try to make further progress to achieve complete success. One of my friend was playing mridanga when she was pregnant. So I think His Grace Krishna Prabhu was there, and Prabhu said, after the kirtan, Prabhu said to the Mataji that the child in the womb was getting purified by your playing in mridanga, and that child would be a devotee, definitely. Otherwise, within the womb itself, the child is able to hear about Krishna conscious things. So that's because that soul would have done devotional service in previous life, we should understand. So example of Bharat Maharaj also shown that Bharat Maharaj became a deer, and then Jada Bharat, he could remember everything in that life. So this is just for a pastime purpose. He became a deer, he had a fall down, but actually he didn't actually have a fall down. It was all glorious birth after Jada Bharat gave transcendental advice to Rahuguna Maharaj. Okay, so Shabda Brahman means actually it is to be heard, all the Vedas and everything. And this advanced yogi surpasses ritualistic principles of Vedas, and they attract the spiritual, not material propensity in the life. And low birth doesn't matter. One who chants the holy name is far, far advanced. Because Srila Haridas Thakur, even though was low one, he was accepted as Nama Acharya by Lord Chaitanya. Means in his previous life, he would have surpassed all ritualistic method of Vedas. So it's not easy to chant the holy name. After so many janmas of purification of Ajnata Sukriti, we got this mantra. Last 3 slokas. Prayatnadhyatamanesto yogi samshuddha kilpisha aneka janma samsiddhas tato yati param gati. And when the yogi engage himself with sincere endeavor in making progress, being washed away of all contamination, he ultimately achieves perfection after many, many births of practice, and attains the supreme goal. This is what is important now, that we reach that supreme goal. Okay, so after many, many births of executing pious activity, when we become free from all contamination, then what happens? We can engage in bhakti. Yesham to andagatam papam janana punyakarmanam tedandapohanir bhajante mam dridapita. Yesham to andagatam papam. All the sinful activities gets washed away. Then pure devotional services established. So if we are born in righteous family, it's favorable condition to do bhakti. Then sincere endeavor should come from us with determination, and then we will become completely pure of all material contamination. And after becoming free from material contamination, you go to real Krishna consciousness. So now Krishna says, who is the topmost yogi? Yoginam abhi sarvesham adgadenandaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam sabe yukta tamo madaha. Out of all the yogis, one who with great faith always abides in Krishna and think of Krishna within himself, renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is highest of all. This is my opinion. Now Krishna is saying about the topmost yogi. Yogi is greater than tapasvi, jnani and karmi. Okay, yogi is defined as a yoga is a linking consciousness to the Lord, as I told you. But in karma yoga, through fruitive activities, they link to Krishna. Jnana yoga through empirical knowledge, and through devotional services, bhakti yoga. Okay, so the best thing is to do bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is the highest. Even better than yogi is a devotee who worships Krishna. So that's why devotional service is very, very important. Krishna says, Shraddhavan bhajate yomam, bhaja. Need to do service. See, devotional means, bhakti doesn't mean only devotion. It's devotional service. So we have to do service, and service should be with love and faith for Krishna. And that can never be avoided by any living entity, because that is our eternal position. One can avoid worshipping a mystical man or demigod, but one cannot avoid serving Krishna without being thoroughly condemned. And anyone who does not render service neglects his duty to the Lord, who is the source of all living, certainly will fall down. So, ideal yogi, what does he meditate on, or he concentrate on the Shyam Sundar form? We should not artificially try to concentrate. First, we should hear the name, Nama. Next comes Rupa. So first, you have to concentrate on Nama nicely. So the Krishna is beautifully colored as a cloud, and lotus-like face is effulgent as the sun, dressed brilliantly with jewels. His body is flower garlanded, illuminating all sides in his gorgeous luster. That is the Shyam Sundar form. Okay, and then Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir Yedya Viveta Guru. So only those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. So we should have faith not only on Krishna, all the scriptures also. Okay, then we'll be able to reach perfection. And to practice devotional service free from desire of material profit, that should be our goal. Devoid of such inclination, and should absorb one's mind fully in the Supreme. So the yoga ladder, if you see Karma Yoga, okay, and they do without fruitive activity, that becomes Nishkama Karma Yoga. If Nishkama Karma along with knowledge and renunciation become Jnana Yoga, Jnana Yoga with meditation becomes Ashtanga Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga with realization of Krishna and devotion is Bhakti Yoga. Because in Bhakti Yoga also, Ashtanga Yoga automatically comes Pranayama and Yama, Niyama, everything comes. Meditation. So when you compare the yoga system, we can see the Jnana, Karma and Ashtanga, they are different steps in the yoga ladder. And they progress towards destination of Bhakti Yoga. But Bhakti Yoga is the goal. Therefore, yoga actually means Bhakti Yoga. And other yogas, they have self-interest. They want something. But Bhakti Yoga is selfless. And others have material desires. But Bhakti Yoga is free from material desires. Bhukti Bhukti Siddhi Kami Sakalaya Shanda Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Deva Shanda. So Krishna Bhakta doesn't want anything. And it's guaranteed success in Bhakti Yoga. But other yoga system, they may fail. And they definitely make progress, Bhakti Yoga. And when Karma Yoga increases knowledge and renunciation, it's Jnana Yoga. When Jnana Yoga is mixed with meditation, it becomes Ashtanga Yoga. But when Ashtanga Yoga is mixed with Krishna consciousness, that is Bhakti Yoga. Means Krishna consciousness is the highest in the yoga system. It's like the Mount Everest is the highest peak. Okay. So this is the final discussion. And so at the last sloka, Krishna says Bhakti Yoga is the highest. Then he takes us to the 7th chapter. This, the connecting link, is the last sloka. It takes us to the next sloka, next one. Okay. So any doubts here? So you understood about Bhakti Yoga. Now in the last sloka, Prabhupada gives a nice explanation. Perfect. So please go through all the short answers. First, we'll have sloka exam. Okay. So please come at 8 o'clock, and then based on your raised hands, I will call you. In case you have an emergency, you can put it in the chat and call you first. And then we'll do sloka. Did they say any 3 sloka from first 6 chapters? Any 3?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. With translation, okay, you have to tell the translation, and the translation should not be book translation. Like, for example, when you say about Krishna, when you say that Paritranaya Sadhuna Vinashaya Chadursha, Krishna appears, like I appear in every millennium. You should not tell in the translation, I appear in every. You are not appearing. Krishna is appearing. So you should tell it as like a third person. You should tell Krishna appears in every yugam, or as a third person. Understood? It should not be like word to word from the book. Because what happens? You muck up, and then after exam you forget it. No, I want you to remember that translation lifelong. So understand the meaning and tell it in your own language. Most of the time, I've seen so many batches happening. When they get stuck, no, they would have mucked up the translation. They get stuck. They can't even explain. I'm like, Mataji, you studied the verse. Just tell me word to word meaning. Just tell me the whole meaning. That's it. I want simple meaning. I don't want big verses or big understanding. I just want simple words that you understand. That okay, this is what Krishna said. So it should be in the third language way. Okay, so next week we'll have sloka exam. Then after that, closed book. Yeah, you can say the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna appears to protect the devotees, kill the demons, and to establish dharma. You don't have to go on saying so many things. No, just the word to word, the meaning. Okay, so I hope all of you, pronunciation is important. The meter with which you sing is important. And nowadays, so many things is happening. Initially, we were planning about 2 devices, one in front and one behind, so that we see the screen. Most of you should not open the sloka in your laptop and then sit and chant. You should close your eyes and then, because we can't cheat Krishna. You can cheat me, but not Krishna. So don't do that. Okay. And else. So that's it. That is a simple one. Then close book, just go through the question bank which we have given and prepare from that. Okay, prepare from. It's better you read the whole purport once and then understand and mark the answers. And then might be 2 to 3 sentences enough. Maybe 2 marks. So not big long answers, short answers is enough. Okay, and you should write it, not typing. Write legibly and take a photo and upload. In case you have technically not good in uploading, please let us know. I'll have some admins ready so as to upload your answer paper in a Google form. Okay, we should know it before itself. It's better you learn or you take help from your family members. But if you have, in case, very difficulty, please let us know. Yeah, the closed book will be written exam, handwritten. Okay. You're supposed to write your name, your date, and everything. Unit test, module 1, CBA, closed book exam. So what it is, once it is done, then sloka and closed book, we'll start with module 2 soon. Okay, any doubts, any questions? So what happens, initially it was typing, we allowed typing. The first batch of Bhakti Shastri went with typing. Then we saw so many copy pasting happening from Veda base. And that is not good. We should not do it. At least you handwrite the answers. We should not copy paste it. So, and then the rule came that it should be handwritten and uploaded. That's better. Okay. Okay, so are we done? Anything else? Okay, so I think we can stop here. Anjaram to the Rupesha, passing the way, which Padidana Pamini, Vishnu, Kodi Vishnu, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.